Okay, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and just as an example of them not know of the pro fighters not knowing half the moves they're supposed to know, you often see in grappling situations one fighter will get the other up against the cage, and maybe they have them in a reverse bear hug with their hands partially laced. You don't want to lace your fingers or you'll get them broke, but they'll have them partially laced like this, or maybe they'll lace their wrists. You never see the person in the front apply what they're supposed to do, which is the reverse wrist lock, and simply get right out of that. All right. You never see that or any of four or five other MMA legal counters that I know from my experience used in actual MMA fights, even though they're perfectly there and available. You can bend down and grab the other person's foot and apply a reverse figure four ankle lock. You can apply, like I said, the reverse figure four, reverse wrist lock, and just about break the person's wrist who's trying to bear hug you. Um, uh, Couple other things you can at the very least try, although they're going to duck their head down, but you can try to at least elbow back or elbow this way back with a full length elbow into their ribs or liver, and break out of it. Those are just three or four examples of ways to break out of that you literally never see, or maybe once in a very long time see anyone try to use. And that's one reason why I don't respect those guys as much as they might otherwise be respected, because it's like how many times have I seen you not win this fight that I know good and well I would have won the fight already based on my martial arts experience. And I'm not talking about everyone in there, but it's like if you catch your opponent's ankle after they made a roundhouse attempt, all right, and you caught their ankle, why are you not applying an inside or outside heel hook and dislocating their leg? Please explain that. I've never seen them use an inside heel hook or an outside heel hook following catching their leg. And I've been watching MMA for 30 years, a little over 30 years. And I've never once seen them do that correctly. And that's one of the first things that we were taught in Okinawan karate is what to do when you catch your opponent's roundhouse kick out of the air. And don't tell me it can't be done, because I've been on both ends of it. I've been beaten by a black belt whenever I was a light green belt. They caught my roundhouse kick out of the air, and I've beaten other people with the same thing when I caught their kick out of the air. So don't say, well, you can't catch a roundhouse. Yes, you can. If you, because a kick is a lot slower than your hands can move, as I learned the first time that a black belt beat me whenever they caught my kick. Um, But I was 16 years old at the time. That's been a long time ago. That's been 29 years ago. But yeah, it's like, I used to train 3 hours a day, 5 days a week for 6 years under a then fourth degree black belt, who's now a seventh degree black belt. Um, but at the time, by the time I was 20, he was a fourth degree black belt. By the time I was 20 years old, but he's since been promoted all the way to seventh degree black belt, my old sensei has. But like I said on other elsewhere, my biggest regret in life is that I didn't go pro as a fighter when I was 20 years old and much healthier than I am now, because now I'm sick and too old to fight. I'm 45 years old. I turned 45 this year anyway. Um, so, to anybody that watches this, don't talk yourself out of your dream, or don't let anybody else talk you out of your dream either. If you want to be a fighter, be a fighter. Because I let somebody talk me out of my dream, and it is probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life, is let somebody talk me out of my dream. um, but yeah, there are so many places where I see where the simple front wrist lock or reverse wrist lock in MMA would end the fight, and they don't even know it. There's something as simple as the very first submission I ever learned, and they don't even know it to try it on one another. Or they'll say joint locks don't work. Bullshit. If you don't think joint locks don't, if you think joint locks don't work, you've never had one demonstrated on you before. Or whoever did demonstrate it didn't know how to do it correctly. But I think I think someone admitted one time that there's only 36 total submissions taught in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think there's 800 total techniques that are mostly different posturing techniques to help get in the correct position to put a submission on somebody. But I think it was been said that there were 36 or so total submissions taught in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Well, good for them because there's 800 total submissions taught in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, including all 36 of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu submissions.